Hi guys, and welcome to I Love Indies. Today we're looking at West of Dead, an action roguelite that came out in 2020, but it's just received quite a large content update, so I think it's time to revisit this one, especially if you've been on the fence. Now, I've played many hours of this, seen it from start to finish, collected most of the upgrades and weapons, and I really like it. Despite its flaws, it is an imperfect game, but I really do think it's worthy of your time. Now, if you just look at the graphics, they are beautiful. A great cel-shaded isometric style for this Wild Western themed adventure. There's some super animations as well, the way that you dash over objects. And I love the character design of the protagonist, William Mason. His flaming head. It reminds me a little bit of Ghost Rider. Now, combat is something that some will love and some may really despise. We have a twin stick shooter here, a little bit, say, like Enter the Gungeon. Your left stick, if you're using a controller, moves the character, Mason, as you can see here, and the right stick moves your target, where you're going to fire your weapon. And that perhaps brings up one of the main issues with the game that many critics have commented on, and that is the targeting system. Even though you have that right stick to target, it isn't always as accurate as you would like, and you could end up being stood right in front of an enemy and missing somehow. What I'll say is that the devs have really improved the targeting system since the first version of the game came out, and I think it's in its best state now. However, there are still some flaws, and you need to look past that, and if you can, then there's a great game to be had here. So, as William Mason, the protagonist, you are in purgatory. You have been murdered, and the story is for you to find out what happened to you, and you will reveal the story through memories that you collect as you play the game. You can carry 2 weapons at any time, and these 2 weapons are fired by pressing the left and right triggers on a controller. I think this works best with a control pad, I have to say. So, like roguelites such as Enter the Gungeon, you face a series of rooms with enemies that you have to defeat. You progress through a level until you get to the teleporter at the end, which takes you back to the hub area where you can upgrade and replenish your health. So you have your 2 weapons. There's upgrade stations like this one here, which has had a bit of a cosmetic makeover in the latest update. There's 3 different areas that you can upgrade. You can upgrade toughness, perception, and resourcefulness. I have to say that toughness and perception are the 2 to go for. I tend not to bother with resourcefulness. So I'll upgrade that, increases my health. There are a huge number of weapons to pick up and unlock in this game. Many you may never see, many you may never use. To be honest, I tend to stick to the same weapons. One of the things that some critics don't like is the reload system. Again, this is something that takes a little bit of getting used to. If you've played Enter the Gungeon, then you'll be used to automatically reloading by pressing a button after you've fired a few rounds off. Here, you have to wait for your guns to reload. You cannot do it yourself. And so you end up in a gunfight where you're constantly pressing the triggers, but you're out of ammo. You have to dash around, seek cover, and wait for your weapons to reload. And you'll see the reloading mechanic at work if you look at the bottom left of the screen. As I fire, I have to wait for them to reload. The new update has introduced some new mechanics, such as poison areas. There's also health lanterns that can be smashed to get more health. This is the shop, typical fare for a roguelite, and the shop usually has weapons one level more than what you currently have, so it is worth investing, but I'm quite happy with what I've got at the moment. Now, one of the great selling points of this game is the voice acting of Ron Perlman, the guy famous for Hellboy, Alien Resurrection and other films. It does add to the story and the whole experience with him voicing William Mason. So most of the game, the action, involves you taking cover, waiting for an opportunity, and then attacking. And I have to say, combat for me, yes, it's a little bit yanky, a little bit awkward, a little bit frustrating now and again, but it is very, very satisfying. So this is the teleporter that takes me back to the hub, so that's level 1 complete. So apart from the graphics and the sound, the game features branching paths, so there's lots of places to visit. The game, with the new content update, has added extra features and it is much more accessible. You will not die in one hit like you used to in the old version. This is the witch, where I can spend my sin, which is the form of currency that you might have seen being dropped from enemies. And this is where you can get a variety of upgrades, which can include your health flask, the green item in the bottom left of my screen. And a bit like Dead Cells, you can upgrade the health flask several times and it will make getting through the levels a little easier. The bosses have also been rebalanced in this new version, so again, they are more accessible, particularly the last boss, which I found particularly difficult in the previous version. I sail through it in this new version. So I think the devs have really made it more enjoyable. But it does have its drawbacks. As mentioned, it's a flawed game. The gameplay, for all its great points, has the awkward targeting system, fiddly controls now and again, and the reload system will just irk some, I have to say. The enemies do lack variety. You do tend to face the same enemies over and over again, even as you go through different levels. Apart from the last boss, the bosses are a little bit unimaginative. The one main boss that you come across, once you've defeated him and moved the story along, rather than face him again, you end up facing outlaws, which are, well, basically just a sort of souped up normal enemy that you face in the game. I'd also say that some of the sins that you collect and can spend, well, some of the upgrades that you can get and spend your sins on, it's not really worth spending your sins on them. It's not. Some of the weapons are I don't think they add to the gameplay. I don't think they really sort of enhance it in any way. And some of the weapons you just wouldn't want to use. So, West of Dead, action roguelite, came out last year. It's had a couple of updates, but it's had its biggest update recently. I really do think that you need to give this one some attention. Look past its flaws, and there is a diamond in the rough here. And that's why I Love Indies is giving this 2 thumbs up. That's it for now, guys. Hope to catch you soon. If you like the video, please subscribe to keep up to date with all of the Let's Play and review content of I Love Indies. But for now, I'm going to say my goodbye, and so is Mr. Ron Perlman. Bye, guys.